Hi, I'm Mary Phelan. Thanks for joining me. This is part 3 of the Introduction to Tarot. My sites are telepathictv.com and consciousnessworkshops.com. I have 2 decks of oracle cards that you can play with online at Telepathic TV, so please check everything out. There's also psychic development games and workshops online and all kinds of fun things, and you can watch Telepathic TV. We had been talking about storing your deck and clearing your deck and doing readings and packing a travel bag to go with you. Getting your ritual set is such a good idea. We all have our own rituals, and all ritual means is it is taking something and separating it from something else and saying this is sacred. This is a special moment and I'm going to utilize it as such. And in these special moments, we can access other dimensions. So your ritual is a good thing for this. If you go into any Catholic church, if you go into any place, even the Boy Scouts, weddings, anything that you do that is a ceremonial thing, there is a ritual. There is an opening and a closing, so to speak. The color guard comes in to open the Boy Scout meeting, and the color guard leaves to signify that it's over. And it does not matter what we do, whether we walk down carrying flags or we rub our hands together, or we light a candle, or we say a prayer. What we're doing is saying this is sacred and I'm paying attention to it. And when you do a reading, it is a sacred thing to pay attention to and treat it honorably, but also treat it with a light heart. It's not about some spooky thing where we might find out that we're going to die or some terrible thing's going to befall us. Why even draw the cards if that's all they were for? To me, if I'm going to die tomorrow, I'd rather just live until I die. I don't want to just sit here and worry about it. So that's not what the greatest benefit of doing the tarot is. The greatest benefit is to say, why am I asking whether I'm going to die? What are my fears about dying? How can I change that? How can I grow? How can I heal? One time, a long time ago, a man came to me. His question was whether he was going to get laid off from work. And rather than me saying, after looking at the cards, it did look like he was going to get laid off from work. I could have been this great psychic and he would have gone off and said, wow, she was so smart. She was so psychic. She got what was going to happen to me very clearly. Instead of doing that, and that didn't really help him because some part of him knew he was going to get laid off, I framed the question differently. I asked, what's good for him to know about his work? How does he feel about it? And the cards that he drew were suppression and being held back and limited. And so then I got him engaged in a conversation about what he really wanted to do. And the story came out that when his kids were little, he had taken a certain training as a journalist and really wanted to be a journalist. But the kids came on board and he had to find a way to support them, so he went into engineering just because it paid more at the time and it was easier to break into. And then 30 years later, 25 years later, he is in a job that he really dislikes and has no idea why he's so unhappy. As a matter of fact, he was so unhappy that his higher self came in the form of demonic coworkers and bosses to kick his butt out of there in the form of being laid off. And then he comes and wants to know why. Rather, he came to know if, and I told him the why. And when he understood the why, then he could take this life back in his hands. And so we looked at what has to happen for you to get back into your journalism. And the cards came out. Believe in yourself. Go out there, just do it. Use this opportunity, if you do get laid off, to go out there and venture into this new world because you're going to get severance. It's like you're getting paid to go do what you would love to do. See this all as a blessing. And he did that, and he got back into his journalism. I could have just told him, yeah, you're going to get laid off. And what did I do for him? I sent him outside, depressed and powerless. When we do readings for other people, it's our sacred duty, it's our sacred charge, if we choose to do this, to give them the tools to create their life. A long time ago, this lady did readings. She took your hand and she got impressions from the angels. And I was walking outside. She had been on our show many years back, and we were walking outside, and she just grabbed my hand. I didn't ask for the reading. And she goes, "Oh, oh, oh, I don't even want to talk about it." And I thought, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" It almost made me feel like I hurt her or something like that. And even though I had the techniques back then to dismiss such things, I did lay awake that night a little worried about what was coming up for me. And I asked the guides, my angels, my higher self, what is the blessing in that? And what I got from that was she showed me how to give good readings. You will grow in the other person the seeds you plant, because thought creates, and where you place your attention grows. How much of a diagnosis coming true is really the fact that they were good predictors, and how much was it of an unconscious suggestion? I have my opinion. I feel that when we give people seeds of growth and tools to use to change their life, they do. And when we just want to be powerful and look good as far as being psychic and just tell them something and not really help them to know that they create and that they can change that, then it's not really helping as much. And this isn't to condemn anyone, it's to educate, because we all have to learn at some point. And that reading from that lady taught me that I'm not going to plant seeds that don't grow into something, that don't take them somewhere. And even the events in our life that look horrible and terrible, they're here to take us to a greater understanding. And let's not miss that opportunity. And tarot is such a wonderful tool for this. And we will go more into, either in this introduction or on the workshops that I have posted online, we go into a great deal on how to counsel. Because when you start doing readings for others, it's good to have that counseling background of how to deliver information in a way that's useful. No information comes to us just to scare us or make us afraid of the future or to feel bad about ourselves. That's not a truth. That's a falsehood. Information always comes to take us to a better place. How can you use the information you get out of the cards to do that? So, doing readings for yourself, it still applies. You're not looking at the cards with, oh, how can I condemn myself? How can I sentence me to a future of this or that? Or how can I gloss over things that are really going on with me that I could pay attention to? The things that look negative in our life are just pointing out things. And we look at it either with neutralness or we look at it with love, not condemnation. There are a lot of different readings you can do for yourself. A real simple one that I'm sure you already know of is to draw a card or two every day. Maybe one in the morning, maybe one in the evening, maybe both. If you draw the card in the morning, you can get insight about the day and really listen to what that card had to say and think about it throughout the day. And you can draw it at night and get insight about the day. But pick one, and I would recommend to do that at least for 30 days. And every day, whichever one you do, write it down. Write down message of the day, the date, and the card you drew, and what you got out of that card. And you will find that there is a greater message when you look at the patterns of the cards you pick. I have been using the Osho Zen Tarot on the television show for about 11 years. I do readings toward the end of the show for people. And I've used that deck with myself for many years, even beyond that. And there are some cards I've never drawn for myself. And I'll go through phases where I draw the same cards repeatedly over and over again. That is a higher message, a larger message. Just like our dreams, the change points in our dreams. If you put them together, there's a larger message. So start cataloging what you get every day. And when you do read other readings, also write those down too, because you get a pattern when you pick multiple cards or you keep pulling the same cards over and over again. Okay, well, this is lesson 3 of Introduction to Tarot, and please keep a lookout for more classes, and I'm going to be putting some introductions to certain psychic development things and other things online. Would love to have you join me. Check me out, telepathictv.com and consciousnessworkshops.com. Thanks.